So what we have is a revenue services and a state that is unable to optimally collect enough money to meet its obligations. And because they have failed to do so, they then now want to take more money from poor people from the value added tax. And that becomes the resolution and the proposal of Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, because that is what he did when he came into office. The first thing which he did as the head of state and president in 2018 was to increase VAT from 14% to 15%. There had never been an increase of VAT in South Africa for possibly more than 30 years, since the democratic dispensation. We actually had thought it as natural that VAT is 14%. We're taking that 14% is VAT. So actually, the VAT was a synonym of 14%. And then Mr. Ramaphosa came and then he took advantage of that period of excitement and all of those things that came with him, and then he introduced a measure which impoverish poor people, which make poor people to pay more for the basic services, which in any way have been rising in terms of cost as compared to the rising salary levels. So the actions of Mr. Ramaphosa are impoverishing poor people, is to get black people in general and Africans in particular poorer. And now there's a revenue shortfall. He wants to take advantage again and wants to make the lives of our people worse. Rich people will not feel the pain of VAT increases because they are not price sensitive. So majority of rich, mostly white people, they don't even know what is the price of bread. They don't know what is the price of anything. They pay any amount, whatever is the price. But poor people, they calculate each and every cent as to what do we expend money on for food, for transport, for this. So if you increase the VAT, it means there are so many basic services which our people will not be able to afford because there is now an increase on the value-added tax. There's multiple options. I do not know that why, despite there's so many rhetorical commitments, why are we continuing to have the funding model on infrastructure like we do currently? Because instead of allocating the budget directly or fiscal commitments to infrastructure, why are we not pursuing the build, operate, transfer model and work with our friends from the People's Republic of China, from Russia, from India to build the mega infrastructure that we need?
Yeah, that's a government that is disorganized. It's in disarray, and we have to accept that the GNU has failed. And they might intervene, the bosses now, to get them to pass the budget. But this is a clear sign of cracks, that there is nothing that can ever work going forward. We are going to be a government without a budget. It has never happened anywhere. Once you don't have a budget, you have collapsed the government. So Commissioner of SARS is making very progressive proposals and says if you increase VAT, it will not have any serious impact. But if anything, let's invest in SARS' capacity to collect the revenue. There is 800 billion which can be collected if systems are put in place. And the latest innovation is introduced at the SARS level, which is more sophisticated and has got an ability to reach every taxpayer. So those are some of the things we can look at. We can look at reducing cabinet. We can look at removing deputy ministers. And there are many other areas that we can look at and cut to complement the social program of our government, because these austerity measures, which are targeting in particular health and education, are going to plug us into...
So our government will come back on the 12th and present the budget, and that is what we expect. That there are meetings where people discuss and differ and make suggestions. It's a program of government. It's to be expected. Now, After every meeting, there's going to be a leak, and all of that. Government can't be run like that. Those individuals must be reined in terms of the prescripts of the law and the oath they have taken. Because as a cabinet minister, I don't remember me leaking cabinet decisions. Uput Jeff is I was telling comrades, is the oldest minister in cabinet. Ndangena kwi government ndamfumana pha ndamshiya pha. So he knows how government works. We don't leak. You don't even talk to your wife about cabinet decisions. Yes, you are not allowed. You are not allowed. So to talk to journalists about cabinet decision, you are breaking the law. It's not a threat. It's the truth. GNU did not change how cabinet operates. It didn't. It operates the same way. So intelligence and everybody must be able to deal with these people who make our cabinet to look like a Mickey Mouse, to borrow the... So we must. It doesn't mean that people must not express their view. They must be respected. We know now that budgets are very key. Budget is not just budget. It's a political tool. And I can't imagine as the ANC, like in 1994, as I conclude, we came in government, we said that we'll give people RTP, we'll give people houses for free, everything for free. We had what we call Reconstruction and Development Program. When we got into government, that apartheid government left us with a debt. We had now to decide, what are we going to do? We said to our people, we'll give them free houses and all of that and everything else, education and so on. How are we going to achieve this with this debt before us, with a bankrupt economy that we actually had? Our response to that was gear, which COSATU doesn't like. We had to achieve macroeconomic stability for the country. We are in that cycle, albeit differently, that our economy is not performing well, and we need to maintain the balance of meeting the basic needs of the people, but at the same time, get resources to basically meet those basic needs. As the ANC, we wouldn't agree that certain things, of course, there will be changes, but must be done away with. Like others say, the DA says, cut. We don't believe in cutting. And the minister is caught between the rock and the hard place. Austerity this side, and then on the other side, where are you going to generate enough financial resources to fund what is required by this budget? There are many suggestions that are on the table. IEJ, many intellectuals and economic experts are making suggestions of what must actually happen. But the reality of the matter is that we are confronted with these challenges, and how do we address them? It's important. A responsible government must do that. So when the minister maybe says VAT 2%, people are going to say, we don't agree with that. There are other solutions. What are those solutions? A cabinet led by Matamela, our president, must exercise its mind over that, even if it means postpone the budget to keep and address the challenges that we're faced. It's for the benefit of me and you. If Enoch was to go to a budget speech and say that there are changes that have been effected, Treasury is going to say to him, that thing you were reading there, what informed it? Did you do the number crunching? He will say, no, I didn't. And then you plunge the country into a crisis. The markets are falling, there is chaos and anarchy and all of that. We can't allow that. So government must exercise its authority and all of that and deal with matters responsibly.